whetstone wheel.
Perhaps I can detonate that explosive from a distance.
Perhaps I can detonate that explosive from a distance.
Perhaps I can detonate that explosive from a distance.
Perhaps I can detonate that explosive from a distance.
Have I got anything that needs a good firing?
There must be a way to spring this trap safely.
What could that have done?
Ah, a forge. The one place metal and bread are welcome in equal measure.
Look out! I see a trap nearby.
Perhaps I can detonate that explosive from a distance.
Look out! I see a trap nearby.
A whetstone. Quite useful for a war-weary blade.
There must be a way to spring this trap safely.
In the days of old, the sorcerers of Riverlong cured the sick and healed the wounded through a great power called Source. But a terrible darkness invaded the land, and Source was forever tainted. The sorcerers who once healed now only destroy, and madness has overtaken them. A few brave Source hunters are all that stand between Riverlon and the dark power that threatens to destroy it. Wherever Source appears, hunters follow.
Rise and shine, Master Source Hunters. The captain wants you up on deck. Hear them gulls? Means we're close to shore. I don't ever you go in there, Master Source Hunters. City's full of undead, hungry enough for blood. But you're supposed to investigate that murder, ain't you? They say it's Source that did the Councillor in. Source in a city like Sicil, nowhere safe anymore. Here they are, Captain Sir.
God's blessings on you, hunters. You'll be happy to hear we've reached Sicil. But there's trouble offshore, so we'll have to sail in carefully. Here, have a look. Those are orc ships, and they're blocking our passage. We'll get you as close to the city as we can, and drop you off on the beach. Be wary now. Orcs are on the attack. Undead have closed every route out, and there's a sorcerer on the loose. If we're to get justice for the Councillor, you'll have to keep your wits about you. May the luck of the gods be with you both, Source Hunters.
If I didn't know there were orc ships raiding to the west, I'd mistake this for a placid beach.
At least the orcs make a bit of noise when they attack. It's dark-dealing sorcerers that'll strike with neither warning nor mercy. Is that a corpse? What's it doing here alone?
What? Did you expect it to have an entourage? Can you believe this? The man jumped off a cliff at the behest of some statues, of all things. Rivellon is no stranger to the supernatural. He might well have flown into the sunset and looked down at us cynics, laughing.
Source hunters! How did they find us?
Take the stone to the temple. These whelps will be easy to crush.
As you say, Madam Conduit.
Arise, fair dead! Seize upon our enemies!
Lunging assault! Missed!
Die, vermin!
No glory in this death!
Said something about escaping with a...
Those thieves were more than petty criminals. Their leader gave life to the dead. What stone could they have been... Until we're briefed on our intended investigation, every wasted moment is an outright defiance of our orders.
Careful! There's a mine in the middle of our path.
Someone must have an interest in protecting whatever's kept here.
I've always heard there's typically more to a king's tomb than meets the eye.
It could be a myth, or it could be our lucky day. I've spotted something interesting. We made short work of that door, but I don't imagine our weapons would survive such use for long. Hold. Our enemies have laid a trap.
bathed in sacred brilliance!
Well, what's this I've spotted?
I've spotted something interesting.
I've spotted something. Downstairs.
The last thing we need is to surprise another angry summoner.
Something isn't right here. It could be an ambush.
A living rat dares disturb the slumber of the dead? A thieving fool insults the sanctity of the grave. The bloodstone defiler, where is it? I suppose you only crept among these sacred tombs for leisure. I suppose you had no lust for the treasure of the dead. Ha! In life, I toiled to care for these holy grounds. In death, I protect them from profaners and poachers. The legacy of Cecile is mine to preserve. Her traitors are mine to... Strange indeed. Robed indeed. Your tricks will not save you from retribution, deceiver. The Bloodstone, deliver it now and I may deign to end you quickly. Run if you like, defiler. Whichever way you take leads you to the grave.
No glory in this death.
Death never dies, fool. Death in 1,000 forms rules all.
Seven, have mercy on your soul.
Look! Look! A wanderer comes my way, walking the sands upon which this poor shell must suffer. Call me Ishmael, son of the sea, an outcast upon these wretched shores. An exiled shell, doomed to live under a canopy of arid sky, not his native, tender water. Of course I can talk, don't be silly. There's more tongue to me than heart. Indeed, the surprise should be mine, for I still remember the days when your kind swung from branches and plucked the vermin out of their neighbor's fur. Huh? Time is an indulgent mistress to one who spends happy hours as she passes. But when your existence is one of misery, she becomes a lethargic hobby. Oh, I remember ancient times, for I have lain here since antiquity, when the ruins around us were palaces, and the sun-bleached dead merry children. All this I have seen, alive, alone. Alas, my fate is a cruel one, I assure you. How many snot-noses have held me up against their dirty little ears, only to claim they can hear the ocean? Of course they can hear her, the brats. We are on the very edge of the great aquatic mother, whose embrace I so desperately long for. Yes, yes, I, King of Pearls, ache to repose anew on his coral throne. Hurl me toward the water. Swing me as far as your arm's strength gives lease. And treasure long sunk I will grant thee. What do you say, kind knight? Will you return the King of Pearls to the sea, so he may yield you long-lost treasure?
Agreed. Let's send him home.
Liberator, kind benefactor, bless me the might of your sea-bound witch. The sea, I have returned, where every wave feels like a mermaid's kiss. May the bounty of the deep be yours, along with my eternal gratitude.
I needed that.
Imported all the way from Hawkesbury, you know. It ain't the local pig swill they sell for ale.
Single malt, my stubbly arse. You've been had by one of them smooth-talking salesmen again. Come, give here before I sober up.
Hold it right there, orc scum! No one slips past the Legion unchallenged.
Calm down, Junius. Doesn't look like one of them orcs to me. Not a single horn in sight, you know.
Just hold your tongue, will you, Bibius? Can't be too careful. We are sworn to protect Sightseal. We're legionnaires, of course. On the lookout for orcs, for they've been attacking from the sea. God knows why they do it, but we stand firm. We of the Legion, liberators of Rivellon.
Liberators of liquor too, aren't we, old chum?
Shh! Just pipe down, will you, Bibius?
Ever cat the watch? Stood on the lookout for hours on end, bored stiff. Boredom's a demon, buddy, and booze is the demon hunter. There. I do declare it's time for this hunter to take another shot. Huzzah!
Aye. A noble word for watchdog, that, for that is what we do. Watch over the local dogs that ever so often aim for one another's throat, and separate them to keep the peace. Separate by the sword, that is.
Best way to calm a wily dog is to neuter it. Ha! Spay for pay. Legion's motto.
Just put a sock in it, will you, Bibius?
So, you're source hunters, are you? And how are we supposed to verify that's true? We can't read, my friend. So for all we know, those papers say you're a polymorph parrot on the lookout for a 2-bedroom birdcage. They don't prove a thing.
You know what? We'll take you two to the wizard. I know he reads. He has books large as a house, that one. Yeah, he'll squeeze the truth out of you, one way or another.
Excuse me? I'm not going to be pushed around by two inebriates. I say we sober them up, and quickly, too. You'd let these lowly grunts order us around? I thought you had more pride than that.
No, we'll do as I say, and there's an end to it.
Capital. Come along, we're not far from the city.
What the hell's happening down there? Orcs! Bloody orcs! Come, let's go back to the bridge. Let the source hunters handle their big brutes.
Those beasts are deadly!
The time of your death is at hand!
Bringing your little orchid girlfriend here is what fool would trust a two-bit love potion into the backstage circular from youthful God?
Did you see that? Those orcs had a human commander.
Who was
How
that
very
joker leading
curious.
those orcs?
And
Damn
how
traitor.
very disquieting.
Where are Bibius and Junius? Didn't they hear the fight?
Filthy beasts, I'll kill the last one of you.
Taken before his time. Far before his time.
Bringing your little orchid girlfriend here is like bringing a wolf to a hen house. Nonsense. Listen. What fool would trust a two-bit love potion into the backstage circular from youthful God?
I like you much better with your guts on the floor.
One day, comrade, vengeance will be ours.
She'll liberate the flesh from our faces. Avert your gaze, and I'll handle this threat for all our sakes. She wouldn't hurt a fly, and I won't let you pass a horn on her head.
Filthy beasts, I'll kill the last one of you.
Bringing your little orchid girlfriend here is like bringing a wolf to a hen house. Nonsense. Listen.
I like you much better with your guts on the floor.
What fool would trust a two-bit love potion out of a backstage circular from youthful God?
I like you much better with your guts on the floor.
Filthy beasts! I'll kill the last one of you!
I needed that.
What's all this ruckus? Sounded worse than a dozen tomcats fighting over the world's last mackerel. Ah, but I see we've suffered another orc landing. And judging by the relative ease with which it was dispatched, I can only come to one conclusion. Source hunters have arrived in Sicil. You're as welcome as a glass of cooled milk on a hot day, my friend. I'm Ahu, at your service. It was I who requested your presence in this troubled city. So you were, and so you weren't. Behold, there we are. Meet my other half, hunter. Ha ha! No, look so flabbergasted. I may be a wizard rife with tricks and guile, but I assure you my plea is an earnest one. So, now that the cat is out of the bag, let us turn to the matter of Councillor Jake's murder. It's hard to put my finger on it, but I can feel in my very whiskers that sorcery was at play. Visit the scene of the crime, and I'd bet sardines for salad you'll say the same. Captain Aureus, though, the local commander of the Legion, insists I'm seeing ghosts. I insist he's blind to all but the undead. Jake was murdered in a downstairs inn up in Sicil proper. The Legion keeps it under lock and key, though, so you'll need Aureus's permission should you want to have a peek. So there are, or rather, there is. Popular opinion has it his wife did the deed, but to be frank, I have my doubts. She seems a likely candidate, to be sure, but that would make her a sorceress. Esmeralda knows how to charm, yes, but I just don't see her magic extend beyond a frolicsome look and wink. Still, don't simply take my word for it, Hunter. It may be well worth your while to cross-examine her yourself. The Legion has her under guard in her shop near the town square. That's where you'll find poor Jake's widow. A human, you say? Truly? But that would be like a kitten leading a wolf pack. And yet, I have heard rumors about a sect of sorts, a shadowy set of worshippers that associate even with orcs. Some say they're sorcerers, but people will say that about anyone who behaves a bit strangely nowadays. I don't quite know what to make of this news, but thank you for informing me. It'd be foolish to dismiss such a curious event out of hand. Ah, the undead. They've been clawing their way out of the ground for 2 years now. And for 2 years the stalemate between them and the living has been dragging on at a weary pace indeed. The Legion did a good job keeping them at bay, but I think it's fair to say that without my magic-infused ballistae, they'd have gotten the better of us by now. Someone is responsible for the outbreak. Necromancers are at work, but who are they and where do they hide? Alas, that searching for them is like searching for a single louse in a lion's mane. Unfortunately, that is absolutely correct. The Orc siege is yet another hairball stuck in this city's already choking throat, and it shows no signs of abating. We've cordoned off the western beach where most Orc activity has been reported. For the 9 lives of me, I can't seem to figure what they're doing here. There's nothing of interest along the waterfront, except for a set of caves with an unfavourable reputation. Maybe they're after some pirate's treasure, the fools. Oh, but that's not a trick. It's a blessing. Or does it surprise you that I enjoy taking a feline guise? Such magic is a gift, Hunter. To tread upon the realm of instinct. Even articulate speech, perhaps humanity's greatest asset, cannot give expression to something so inextricably innate. To be out in the night, to stalk on silent paws and hunt with only the moon as your witness. You couldn't possibly imagine the thrill.
Little orcish girlfriend here is like bringing a wolf to a hen house.
But of course it's handy to speak in more than meows. And I couldn't brew potions or make machines without opposable thumbs. This I freely admit. Let's just say I have found a way to enjoy the best of 2 worlds. I'm glad we've met, Source Hunter, and I'm certain we have a lot more to talk about. Feel free to visit me whenever you want. I've set up a workshop in the Legion's headquarters. Once you're there, just take the stairs, but do pay a visit to Aureus first. He may bark like a beagle with its tail stuck in the door, but you won't get very far in your investigation without speaking to the de facto leader of Sicil. And with that, I bid you adieu, Hunter. Adieu and good luck. May your enemies prove to be mere mice, and you the dauntless mouser.
Sects, undead, orcs. Oh, looks like we have our work cut out for us.
At least we won't be bored. How about we go see that Aureus chap Arhu mentioned?
What fool would trust a two-bit love cushion into the backstage?
Come on, man! Put your backs into it! Are these the biggest buckets we've got?
Come on, then! Put your backs into it!
Blasted orcs have learned how to play with fire.
Come on, men. Put your backs into it. Rainfall!
Sodden all the way to my boot soles!
Ahoy, sailor! Are you enjoying the fresh winds of Sicil? Name's Conrad, cargo trader, sea captain, an expert in all things nautical. Folks across Andervale know to give old Conrad a holler when it comes to rare imports and magical items. Those orcs must be out of their barbarous minds launching an attack on a city where a great wizard resides. Though even I must admit they put up a hearty effort. I'll tell you, the only time I'd consider waging a suicide campaign like that would be if whatever I sought was something worth dying over.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new, sir.
Sauce?
Zombies.
Here in Sicil? Duh. Of all the cursed hunks of rock to land on, Conrad chooses this one. That was some fast acting there. Many thanks on behalf of all us seamen. Madness. Thought we were done with those swampy uglies a fortnight ago. Note, though, that none of them dared to come close to the tide splitter.
Speaking of youthful gore,
Yes, sir.
that
As
loopy
fine a
legionnaire
specimen
really
as
thinks
one
that
of the
orky
stock,
charm
sir.
loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst! Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Feddle's carriage for a joyride?
Ha! Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Sauce? Here? In Sicil? Don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to Yuttle Floor anymore?
Really? The greatest warriors in Rivellon can't cross a rope.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst! Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Feddle's carriage for a joyride?
Ha! Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
I said to him, I said myself, if I don't start earning an extra gold piece now, I'll walk out that door.
Good on you. These boss men respect confidence, you know. And so what did he say?
Well, what does it matter? Day labour's more suited to my nature anyhow.
Yes, honest pay for an honest day.
A stitch of time, hey, my friends? On the men!
Report! Nothing to report, sir.
You never have
On the men!
Isn't that a good thing?
Salutations! Source hunters, I see. I'm Sergeant Curtius,
proud protector of this house of Legion goods. This is a storing house for Legion supplies, perhaps the most important building in the realm, by my and others' estimation. And I, Sergeant Courteous, have been trusted to guard it. Courteous is my name, the Legion is my calling.
This place reeks of orc stench.
Well, a source hunter. A very hearty welcome to our humble warehouse. Have a look around. And don't mind if I pick your brain about the scoop around Undervale. I'm behind on my current affairs. I tell you, this gig sure beats getting my toes bitten off by zombies out in the field. We warehouse guards don't have to do much apart from stroll the perimeter a few times an hour. And, of course, every now and again, some friendly folks, like yourself, will wander through here. And nothing beats a pleasant conversation, though my comrade Horatius has quite different opinions on that matter. Have you talked to him? Thinks every man, woman and child who steps foot in this place wants to rob it blind. If I so much as greet a townsperson with a hello instead of a state your purpose, he starts frothing on and on about guardly duty and security breaches. This Jake business is quite the scandal, no? I myself suspect his wife, Esmeralda, and the butcher seconds that, let me tell you. Then again, and you didn't hear this from me, he's going through quite the nasty divorce himself, and there's his children to consider. But I imagine his youngest, Kimberly, won't mind. Never did get on well with her mother ever since the incident. Oh, it's an unparalleled pleasure having a fresh ear around here.
Come now, enough doom and gloom. Cast your gaze instead upon my fair, fanged filly.
Ah, who better than a proven orc crusher to convince my dumbbell of a friend here that orcs are predators, not pets?
Enough of that. I know how dangerous an orc can be, but this one has been reformed. Anyone can see that she's completely docile, but my prejudiced friend here still wants to kill her. My friend here and I were patrolling outside the city walls, when who did I see creeping along the shore but this lovely orcish lady? For a brief second, as long as eternity, we locked eyes. Perhaps confused by the butterflies in her stomach, she sprang up and began running, claws bared towards Marius. Fortunately for him, I had the presence of mind to ignore my sword and instead adroitly fling my pouch of trinkets towards her. A vial of love potion shattered over her head, and when she turned to face me, she became instantly enamored. I'm sure she must have been compelled to join the Orcish army under some kind of duress. A lady with such a sweetly savage manner would never willingly join up with those vicious marauders.
Ha! I can assure you there wasn't a hint of sweetness in those murderous eyes when she lunged at my throat. She may be confined here for now, but who's telling when she'll escape and who she'll rip to shreds?
Ah, I've always had an amateur interest in all things alchemical. When I read in an esteemed periodical from the Wizards of Youthful Gore about an amazing opportunity that could change my life, I had to act fast or lose the once-in-a-lifetime deal. I sent away for the world-famous love potion, available for a limited time only, and it has worked exactly as promised.
You see what a fool my friend has been, spending all his cash on snake oil and bringing a temporarily tranquilized monster into our midst to boot.
What kind of monster would lie in a published advertisement? I'm sure the effects of the potion will be everlasting, as printed.
You see, he'd believe it was noon at midnight if he read it on a printed pamphlet. Please tell me you can reason with him, or ditch reason and use your sword to save him from his murderous darling.
You're right. The information she provides could well turn the tides here in Sicile.
Bravo! I trust not only the potion, but my scaly sweetheart in and of herself.
You're going to regret this. We're all going to regret this.
This place reeks of orc stench.
Avert your gaze, and I'll handle this threat for all our sheiks.
She wouldn't hurt a fly, and I won't let you hurt a horn on her head.
If I don't start earning an extra gold piece now, I'll walk out.
Keep your pleasantries to yourself. What are you doing inside this warehouse, snooping around? If it's conversation you're looking for, I'd recommend my comrade Florius, or as I prefer to call him, Loose Lips McGee. As for myself, my job is to protect this warehouse, not chit-chat with intruders. That idiot man-child would sooner spend an hour chatting up a thief than a minute arresting him. I only hope he gets transferred out of this warehouse and straight to the perimeter. Let him rot off as zombies here instead of mine. Even thinking of him turns one into a gabbing hen. Please, leave me be.
Out the door.
Good on you. These boss men respect them.
Steady, boys, steady. We'll be leaving as soon as we're packed up.
Plenty of fish in the sea, but I've got the foulest of the lot on my hands.
Let's see. Halibut.
Say, no one's around. You wouldn't raise a fuss if I, borrowed one of these fish, would you?
Borrow, indeed. I'll sooner meet a cat wizard than see that merchant repaid.
Come now, I'll be good for it, I swear! I never would have dreamt of resorting to petty theft during better times, but what choice have I got now? If it's steal or starve, I'll choose steal. So what do you think? Should I snag a fish?
Yes, you know what they say about giving a man a fish. This man should learn to stand on his own 2 feet.
I suppose you've got a point. Another day, another rumbling belly. Never fed a hungry man, you know.
That thief is free for now, but I wonder how long it'll be until his growling belly seduces him back onto the crooked path. Thank you for making that would-be thief see reason. I only hope your instruction lasts. The last thing the plagued people of Sicile need is a thief among them.
Quiet day on the market, it seems. Oh, hello, love. Nice day for a little stroll around the market, isn't it?
Good stuff. Lawn, son?
What are ye staring at?
Captain Jack's the name, though the title may be a little generous at the moment. My crew ran off, and I can't find enough hardy souls to help me reload the ship and sail off. Those scallywags heard there be silver in the Lacula mines, and they abandoned ship like the lily-livered turkeys they are. Haven't seen them since the day we docked.
Their excuse is more home than the size of this time.
Source hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd. Now that the herd's gone, old Birchie's just scratching by like a hen till the next batch of beasties comes through. I recently sold most of the tender loves to a trader heading north. Plenty of business that way these days. Those miners must be preparing for a mighty great feast. Wish I could have a nibble on my dear darlings, all ground and spiced. Yes. Oh, Ogget's been missing for more than a fortnight. I love that sheep, you know. Was planning to cook her into a fine midwinter night haggis myself. Do tell me if you hear anything about her. I plan on pursuing whoever stole her with my cleaver in hand.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
What? Oh, it's you. Come closer, then. Closer? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you. My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Sicil, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Sicil through these difficult times. Yes, very difficult times indeed. What? Oh, you mean Sicil? Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jake, and by source magic no less, weren't enough. We're also facing all sorts of brutish intruders. The undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of savaging our beaches. That's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or some such sticking its tendrils into the innocent, seven-fearing folks of Sicil. And, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought. A weapon called the Staff of Pergamon. Jake, murdered? Oh, yes. Yes, now I recall. Indeed. I could hardly believe it myself. The Council and I have certainly had our differences over the years, but old squabbles evaporate under such circumstances. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective custody to keep her safe from the mob. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit, suggestive. But I've never had cause to suspect her of violence. Still, one never knows for sure. An all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Sicil is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years those blasted skeletons have all but suffocated this city. With all but one trade route overrun, Sicil's once torrential commerce has slowed to a pathetic trickle. The what of what now? Oh, you're speaking gibberish. Ah, you mean the Staff of Pergamon. Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful, very rare staff. I managed to place the order through means somewhat, atypical to a government official. Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchants told me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands, and I wonder if you could retrieve it for me. His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Sicil harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead. Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really don't know, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least explain the basics. Ah, you see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, rather more than nice, they occasionally, well, they... Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Sicil's under siege by orcs, undead, and cultists. That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in, exactly? Ah, the library. Yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Sicil. Would you like to have a look? I'll escort you upstairs myself. Marvelous. Follow me, then. What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Sicil's crown, the beacon of culture and learning in our fair city.
Is there no new book to be discovered in this
library? My Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine, and she's got every speck of information about this place packed into her brilliant brain. Yes, Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. Ah, it brings a tear to my eye just seeing her here among her beloved books. What? Oh, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now. Please introduce yourself. I know Victoria will be happy to make your acquaintance.
Demonology for dumbbells.
Where's the third one gone?
I need something more advanced.
Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs
to be
in the
discovered in this library?
In the name of Amon-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal. Be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine. I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Sicil toward the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amon-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. And the first edition, too. Most promising.
The knight in see-through armor? Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom? Stenteken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Who placed this book here?
The Lesser
volume of
Key of
poetry among
Sadakandras.
novels? Rack.
What nonsense.
What mayhem.
Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
place this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Urack!
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
The knight in see-through armor? Princess
No,
Buttercup with
this
the
isn't the
blushing
grimoire
bottom?
I'm looking for.
Taken.
The
Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
Most promising.
A sauce hunter! Oh, what a sight for sore Sicilian eyes! Me? I live alone here in town. Used to be that my younger brother Tom and I were practically joined at the hip, but that's all changed now. Oh, he's always been something of a rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring and endlessly worrying my poor mind. Oh, but of course, I've always loved that scamp to bits. For my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. Even got him sparring with Captain Orius now and then. But then those blasted Fabulous Five came into town. That band of... I don't even know what to call them. Well, they're his heroes, and I simply couldn't prevent him from going to see them. That one meeting was all it took for Tom to run off with them on some mission to God knows where.
Something more advanced. Omnes autem mali daemonis quam. What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Protector, they have the manners of boors, these boatmen of Sicile. Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken, for you hardly resemble the local fisherfolk, which, incidentally, is a compliment of copious dimensions indeed. No, a source hunter, that is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery, a chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. But it may just be to our mutual advantage to join forces nonetheless. Why, simply because you hunt source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware, of course, that quite often both of these pests frequent the same shadowy pools of infamy. Now, I hate what I hunt, but I respect its cunning. Should I not, I'd have been decimated, body and soul, long since. This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but also in numbers. The calculus of wizardry I offer you, the might of the magician's mastermind. On one condition, that on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no matter how tempting their propositions. Give me your word on this, and I'll weave you spells.
Volume 2? But where has the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
You speak before your turn. I, for one, am not ready to make that promise.
Oh, simple souls. Oh, doomed spirits. What tangled webs you'd weave. But I won't be a fly to be caught in them. Begone. Reflect. And if you should see the light, I will be here in the library. For now, you are not worthy of my devotion. The Source Hunter. Have you come? Why? Simply because now, this is a on one...
Agreed. Nothing good ever came from bargaining with those devils anyway.
Most gratifying. I see you are firm of purpose, and thereby ready to descend. Descend into the madness that is sorcery. Into the depths where demons dance. Gladly shall I follow you into the abyss. Onward. Blood and triumph await.
Volume 1, Volume 2. But where's the third one gone? Shatsu.
Thank the seven we've...
Lords above, grant me patience. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Here because you think I killed my husband. How many times do I need to state and restate my complete innocence in the matter? I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor, but his one and only princess just the same. Like I told just about every legionnaire in town, I don't know anything about poor Jake's murder. I want his killer found and tried, but everyone suspects me of this evil deed. And you're no different, are you? So what happened? Some of them tittle-tattling crab chasers down the pub call me a murderous gold digger and you believe them? These insinuations truly go beyond the pale. Oh, I think I'm getting one of my headaches.
Well, what do you want to know?
We're surrounded. Undead haunting every exit. Orcs gnashing at every entrance. We're sealed in like mummies, you know. I'm telling you, a necromancer must have been at work in Sicil. Perhaps still is. How else do you explain risen dead sprouting like mushrooms in a single night? And that's not even the worst of it. No, the worst is they keep coming back. An endless legion of the dead that even the legion of the living cannot subdue.
Adamant about her innocence.
We'll need to look for evidence if we want to prove she actually did the evil deed.
Thank the seven we've secured the perimeter.
Can you spare a coin? One coin or two, noble spirit? One coin or two? Oh, I am a happy man, and certainly a humble one now. It turns out losing it all has its own share of benefits. Ah, a fool once was I, and ever seeking greater satisfaction than that which I already enjoyed. In my folly, I sought the counsel of those notorious Watcher statues on the western cliffs. Their guidance ruined any small fortune I might have had, but certainly granted me humility. I'd heard they were not to be trusted, that they gave fools' advice to the fools who sought them, but somehow I believed that I was the exception. They told me that I would find fame and renown if I renounced my worldly possessions, all my worldly possessions, and became a great figure of piety and humility. Fire, the most thorough cleanser, was my method. But as my house burned in front of me, I felt no elevation, no piety, only the sudden weight of my own idiocy upon my very soul. May the soul of Astarte smile upon you, kind stranger.
So, those statues told him he'd have to renounce his earthly possessions to become a spiritual leader, did they?
Ah, cruel fortune.
Some of the richest people in the world are also some of the most miserable. Gold can purchase many things, but neither joy nor wisdom are among them.
Drink and gamble. That's all we do around here. Hope you fare better, Source Hunter.
Attention! Dramatics. It's not as bad as all
About
that.
face!
The face, Virius. She bit me in the face.
To the barracks!
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Recruits!
Ugly will be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try it, Screech woman.
The beast speaks? So you've half a brain behind that feral maul, have you?
The cretin's question crossed her lips and aped an air of aptitude.
Sorry, sir.
Hey, Tull, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast, Virius. You'll only encourage it.
Sir! No, sir!
Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Easy, Tull. That's the Source Hunter you're talking to.
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along the city walls. I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
Bit Tullia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the wilds again, can we?
Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those boots will embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir! No, sir!
Those boots will embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny,
After all, a fearless hunter might prove quite useful for our investigation.
Well, that's a relief, ain't it? We found a good home for her after all, Tull.
Heed me, Source Hunter. She's not good for anything more than cannon fodder. And don't turn your back on her when she's got that bow within arm's reach.
Attention!
Source Hunter, I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the world of humans. I myself was caged one moment and freed the next by our kind. In Home Forest, every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees.
To the barracks! Notch! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those boots will embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
It is strange to stand with one foot in the forest and the other in the city, Source Hunter. I am glad that now I have you standing beside me. Even if one burns hot while the other wheezes cold. Perhaps in time I will come to know my own kind as you have. And perhaps then I will decide for myself whether ours is a noble kind.
Those boats would embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Those boats would embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir, no, sir.